All right. Since we're live, you guys can hear me. Please let me know. We'll get this started. Sorry for being really late today. I always lose track of time in the evening streams, usually. But looking forward to the race today, I think. I don't know. I'm a sucker for night races, so I'm looking forward to it either way. But kind of a confusing slate, I'll be honest. I think if anybody tells you they have a great idea of how this is going to play out, probably not being completely truthful. What's up, Jill? You guys can hear me? All right. Sounds like we're getting good to go. What's up, coaches? Happy Father's Day to all. Yes, to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Not sure how many people will be here today because you might be doing stuff, but for those of you that are chilling with me before the race starts, I do appreciate that. And I do have a dono right off the rip from Chris Jenkins. As always, I really do appreciate that. He says, do you think PD is going to be risky or with potential tire problems? You look at it like a carnage race with the last car standing. I would love to have a great answer for you because I just don't know exactly how this is going to play out. The track temperatures, obviously a lot different from qualifying yesterday. I forget exactly how they were during practice, but it's going to be kind of a guessing game today. We saw during practice where the tires would fail right around 20 laps for certain guys. So hopefully they have made some adjustments and they'll figure that out. But I'm hoping it's not like we saw at Bristol earlier in the season where you just basically needed guys that survived, or obviously the tires were a major issue. So for me personally, because obviously I don't think we know exactly how this is going to play out, I am going to build as it's a normal race, and you're just going to have to hope that your guys don't get a tire failure. There's no way to project which guys that will happen to. So for me, I am building regular. We'll see what happens, but my lineups will have a decent mix of guys starting up front and some place differential plays mixed in anyway. So it's not like I'm super strong one strategy or the other. It's just kind of a mixed bag for me. So it's an excellent question, which I'm sure a lot of people will be asking me that. I've had several comments on the video yesterday where they're saying if this is anything like the Xfinity race, it's going to be pure chaos, which, yeah, the Xfinity race was awesome from a fan standpoint. Fun to watch, although for DFS, I had the same lineup as like 20 other people, it seemed like. So that was very annoying. It was very chalky with qualifying getting rained out. But let's keep in mind they use different tires, different cars. So I don't think it's going to be a one-to-one of how the Cup race will end up going. So it's going to be a bit of a guessing game tonight, unfortunately, but that's how it's going to have to be. Now, during my preview video, I always say it's my first time going through the slate and how to see what the projections say, because I'm always just kind of focused on what projections say, and that's how I build off. I don't really try to have any biased stances. I try my best with Blaney and Hamlin, but sometimes it gets the best of me. But I would say projection-wise, the guys that I'm going to be getting to quite a bit today in the 5-figure range will be a lot of Larson and Hamlin. That should be no surprise. That's what we liked yesterday, and projections did back that up. Although I'm not as low on Christopher Bell as I originally thought I would be. Even with him going to the rear, he's still projected out pretty decent for me. I think I still have him as a top 5 potential finisher. And I threw in some dominator points, although this is certainly not going to happen in the early portion of the race. This is more of like a stage 3 type of event for Christopher Bell. But if he can be as good as he has been at these types of tracks this year, I don't see a reason why he can't be at least a contender by the end of stage 3. And it's happened so many times where I just fade the guy that's going to the rear. Now, keep in mind, he's in a backup car. So it's not like he's an original car that was insanely good. But assuming it's pretty much got similar speed, I mean, by stage 3, if he's running third and he's getting fast laps, I don't want to have none of Christopher Bell. So he is in my player pool more than I thought he would be. William Byron, not getting a lot of him. In the 9K range, looks like Ryan Blaney, Logano, and Keselowski will be the guys I get to a lot, which I know Ty Gibbs and Martin Truex Jr. will be very popular today, but it looks like I'm going to be a little underweight on them. I do think they're better FanDuel plays than DraftKings plays, but still not going to get a ton of them because I want the guys with some track position to have a little bit of dominator points. 8K range, I love it. Getting a lot of Reddick, a lot of Chase Elliott in tournaments. We have dominator upside in the 8K range. I'll take that any day. Also love Ross Chastain and Alex Bowman's a fine cash play. 7K range is still, like I said, it's kind of ugly, not getting to a lot of it. The one I'd had the most interest in is probably Bubba Wallace. Other than that, not really excited about it. 6K range, love Noah Gragson, and I like Ryan Preece, and I don't mind Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse just for some cheap PD. And then the 5K range sucks. Probably Justin Haley would be the one I get to, maybe a little bit of Nemechek, but that's what projection's like. So that's going to be like my main player pool. Obviously, there's a couple other guys I might not have mentioned that will make the player pool today if I'm playing 20, 150 lineups, which I am. But hopefully that answers some quick questions there. But I'll get into all the questions you guys got now. I got a dono from Man, Heat, appreciate that. Leave it on fire this week. He said Hamlin or Elliott, and where's Oakley? Oakley's chilling on the couch in the other room. Thanks for asking about him. And then Hamlin or Elliott, I have to go with Denny there. Denny's starting 12th today. He's the second favorite to win. And if we have to manage our tires, which I know there really wasn't like fall off in practice. I think it was like almost like a tenth of a second from the 5 and 20 lap runs in practice, if I remember correctly. Something like that. The tires were just blistering and then exploding. So it's going to be fun to see how that works out today. But I'll have to go with Denny there. Larson and Denny are the top 2 options on the slate today. If you can fit them in together, I would love that. I think Denny's just kind of cheap this weekend at $10,300 for a race that has over 300 laps. Not really sure why he's that cheap. You think he'd be like right up there with Kyle Larson, so I would take the price discount. I appreciate the dono, Peter. All right, Sean was the first one here. We'll get to him. What's up, Hunter? Says, hey, good looking. All right, let me scroll up. Okay. What's up, CP? Happy race day. Thoughts on Larson, Reddick, Elliott, Keselowski, and Chastain, and FanDuel Cash? Anyone to pivot off of? Thanks as always for the content. I think that's a really good build. For cash games, it's probably better suited for tournaments, to be honest, because I think a lot of people on FanDuel will probably be getting 2 Ty Gibbs, probably getting to Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman because they want that PD, and the dominator points don't really matter much over there. But if you are playing this as more of like a track position race, and obviously if there's some carnage, these guys can get there. I do have Truex not projecting terrible today. Like, I know it sounds like I'm a little bit low on him. I just think the speed's not going to be there. But I do have him finishing at 15.85 today, which equates to 45 fantasy points. Don't really have any downer points. Or I just don't see how he gets up front today. Unless there's some weird strategy that I don't know that's going to happen. I just feel like everyone's going to need tires every time. So, I mean, I got him for 45. Like, he's a decent floor play, but I don't think speed alone he's going to rip through the field like a Christopher Bell, I think, could. But I do think it's a solid build, but I think it's better for tournaments. I'm considering using that specific build as my main single entry on FanDuel, but I think it has Hamlin over Larson, if I remember correctly, if that's the same lineup. Got a dono from CM. Appreciate that. Says, who finishes highest between Barry, Suarez, and Gregson? I have that as Josh Berry. I have Josh Berry projected at 11.7. I have Gregson at 18.37. And then Daniel Suarez I have around 18.1. So that'd be Josh Berry by quite a bit. I think Barry and Briscoe were very interesting plays in tournaments, but I could really only get to those guys if I'm building more than likely like 20 lineups or more. If I'm playing a 3 max or if a single entry, I'd have a really hard time getting to either of them. I realize that's probably like a betting question. But I appreciate the dono. Dan says, on FanDuel, what are the key core plays? Also on FanDuel, what are the top 2 optimal lineups? Yeah, so it looks like on FanDuel, my projections love Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman a lot. Also Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin popping up quite a bit over there. My top 2 projected lineups. Not sure how I feel about the first one. I love you'll see what I mean at the bottom. So Hamlin, Larson, Truex. Like I said, I'm a little bit lower on Truex in general, but I do think on FanDuel he's a better play than he would be on DraftKings. Because on DraftKings, we need those downer points. FanDuel doesn't really matter as much. Although Kyle Larson leads like 200 laps today, it's 20 points. Like that matters a bit for sure. But it's Hamlin, Larson, Truex, Bowman, Stenhouse. Feels really gross with Stenhouse. Second one looks a little bit better on the eyes to me. It's Hamlin, Larson, Elliott, Bowman, Gregson. I think Gregson's got way better finishing position upside potential today over Ricky Stenhouse. So, what I'm building around for the most part on FanDuel. What's up, Chokes? It's Happy Race Day, CP. Right back at you. Same questions as last week. Is this a stack the back race with a couple DOMs? And what is your favorite tournament play? And if you had to fade one high-owned driver, who would it be? I wouldn't say it's necessarily stack the back because you need some guys that can lead some laps. If you are completely getting rid of dominators today, you might be able to min cash, but you're not going to take down a tournament because there's obviously guys that have 100-point upside. Like if Larson leads 200 laps today, like you're going to need that in your lineup. So I would say it's just kind of like a mix. It's really how you just build for, like, if this was Richmond or Phoenix, that's how you're building for today. Obviously, there's a lot more unknowns. This being a new track and obviously the tire issues during practice is certainly something to be concerned about. And favorite tournament plays? For me in tournaments, I'll just give you a few. Like I really like building around some cheaper DOMs like Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott. I also love Ross Chastain's price point. I think they'll be a little bit lower owned because they're sandwiched in between that Truex Gibbs and Alex Bowman price range. So I think it's a really good spot to be in. What's up, Johnny T? This is what are your core must plays, if any, on FanDuel? Do we build around Larson? I feel like the pole sitter is scary and cash on FanDuel. Place differential safer this week. Thanks as always. Probably a lot of overlap with Dan's question there for the answers I just gave, so I don't want to try to repeat myself entirely what I said. But I mean, if you are on FanDuel today, Larson, while he is the pole setter, he still like if I just do a dry run of 20 lineups with my projections, with no settings, Larson pops up in all 20 lineups. Bowman in 18 lineups out of 20, Hamlin in 15, Elliott in 10. So those are the ones that are popping the most, just purely based off of projections. So based off that, I'd have to say those are the core plays on FanDuel. But I'm fine with playing the pole sitter on FanDuel this week. Like, it's not like last weekend. Like, I would not have thought about playing Joey and FanDuel and cash yesterday or last week. It just makes no sense. But at a track like this, where he could rack in the first 70 laps easily and still be a contender throughout the entire race, you want that in your lineup. So I'm fine with that. Jake asks, top 5 finishers today? Thank you, as always. No problem at all. So my top 5 today, it's Larson, and it's by a decent margin. So I have Larson as the winner at 3.69 for the projected finish. And then next would be Denny Hamlin at 6.11. So it's a bit of a tier break there. And then it's Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, even with him going to the rear, which is why I kind of up my likeness on him. Like on FanDuel, I think he's a fine tournament play because you don't need those down 100 points over on FanDuel. If he ends up coming back, clawing his way through, and there's cautions, and he finds himself on third, that's a good play over there. And then I have Tyler Reddick in 5th. So D-Gen Stoner, nice to have you here. What's up, Sean? What's the optimal FanDuel and DraftKings lineup? Went over the FanDuel one. Over on DraftKings, my optimal. You're on the optimizer here. So my optimal on DraftKings is Larson, Blaney, Reddick, Bowman, Dillon, Stenhouse. I don't think that's really a cash lineup. It looks more so tournament-y. Also, this one looks pretty good. Larson, Hamlin, Chastain, Bowman, Dillon, Stenhouse. I do notice that it's pretty much the bottom 2 spots are always like Dillon, Stenhouse, and Ryan Preece. And Gregson. Sometimes he's the 3rd or 2nd to the bottom. But yeah, those are the... It's really chalky down low, I think, this week. Because I think everyone's playing Dillon, Stenhouse, Gregson, or Ryan Preece mainly to round out your lineups. Because the 5K range is terrible. What's up, Mom? Have a great time at the beach. Let's go, Joey. Yeah, Joey's somewhat of an interesting tournament play today. It's a newer track, and he tends to excel at those for whatever reason. And he's good at short flat tracks. He's starting at 11th. I don't think anyone's going to play him. He's just in such a dead spot, so I do think Joey is tournament viable today. What's up, Mundo? Happy Father's Day to all. Who are the best potential DOMs and best PD drivers? So I have the top DOMs in order as Kyle Larson, and by a lot. Like clean air at the beginning is going to be huge. Then Ryan Blaney, Hamlin, Byron, Keselowski, Reddick, Elliott. I think those are the most likely DOMs today, and I have it in that order. But keep in mind, Larson's like way up here, and then the other guys are down low. What's up, Dwayne? I am having a good day. I hope you are as well. For single entry DraftKings, he has Blaney, Bowman, Kyle Busch, Gregson, Hemrick, Larson with 900 left. Should I come off of Hemrick? Good luck today. The 2 guys that I would come off of are probably Kyle Busch and Daniel Hemrick. Just don't really have a reason to trust Hemrick. But other than that, I like the rest. I love Larson. I love Gregson. I like Blaney. I like Bowman. So if you could kind of switch around something to get maybe off of Kyle Busch just sucks at these tracks. I don't know what it is. He just sucks at the short flat tracks in the RCR ride. If you could maybe change that around a little bit. I think Kyle Busch he's 8,200. If $100 more you can get Ross Chastain, who I think should be faster. Still ask for the optimal FanDuel lineup. I'm way behind, so I'm probably answered that for you. I'm not sure if I would tell you right now, I'm not playing my optimal FanDuel lineup in my main single entry because I don't want to sweat out Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So I will not be playing that as my main. I'll probably be playing one of these top 5 though. I'm going to try to find a way to play Larson and Hamlin up top, but we'll see if push comes to shove. I might side with Denny just because they get 11 extra spots, but I'm not 100% sure. As I always tell you guys, I am a last second builder. I got my CSV in last week with, I believe, about 1 minute to go. But that's how I like to build. And you know what? It's been working out, so why not just keep doing it? 2 best sleepers tonight. It'd be better if it was like a price range question because there's like a lot of sleepers depending on which price range you're in. But I like Reddick and Elliott, just like kind of in the middle there. But I'll be having them. Just cheap dom upside on DraftKings. I will take that upside. Although Reddick, big wild card. Reddick's one of those guys where it seems like he'll be like elite, like 2 stages, and then either there's an issue on pit row, or he just gets a flat tire, he hits the wall, something with him. It's hard for him to put together a complete race. Obviously, he was still fine last week, but he was crushing it, and then I believe he made contact with, I forget who it was. Might have just been Larson, I forget. Then he flat spotted the tires. Finished well, but obviously didn't have a car to win at the end. What's up, Ryan? Do I like Bowman or Chastain more in the DraftKings single entry based on that pick, pair with Hamlin, Larson, Stenhouse, Nemechek, and Reddick? Or have both of them with Larson, Reddick, Bubba, and Ricky? Well, if it's a tournament, I would say Ross over Bowman. The ownership will be lower. I do think Ross has some top 10 upside, maybe sneaky. Top 5 potential, unlikely, no, but obviously a better chance for a top 10. So I would go with Ross, and I think that build's fine because you do have the Hamlin-Larson combo, which I do like quite a bit. Obi says, prop bet later on time. I think late has hit like every single time. So that was 11 minutes late today, so I don't think there's a chance the under could have hit. I don't know what the alternative lines were or whatever, but definitely an under. All right, big at you, Kiefer. Happy Father's Day, if that pertains to you. What's up, John? Happy race day. What do you see as the top 5 drivers? I answered that one, but I do have it as Larson, Hamlin, Blaney, Christopher Bell, and Tyler Reddick. And who do I have finishing better head-to-head for Larson versus Hamlin, Byron versus Truex, Blaney versus Logano, and Elliott versus Bell? I'd have Larson in that one, Byron in that one, Blaney versus Logano. I'd have Blaney, and then I have Bell over Elliott barely. What's up, Bobby? I already answered that one. What's up, Nova? Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Shout out to all the dads. What's up, Matthew? He wants to know, is 100% Larson good? If Larson doesn't wreck, yes, I would imagine that's good. Just no, I mean, if he wrecks, obviously not. But if there's one driver to go way over weight on today, I think it's Kyle Larson. Like if he just dominates stage 1 and does not have an issue during the rest of the race, you're set. You have that dominator cushion, you'll be good. Fourth and one says late for his own funeral. That is for sure. He could be tonight too with Iowa. We don't know how that's going to go. But I would imagine I will be late for that too. What's up, Travis? What's up, Sarugi? Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. That's in this lineup for Cash, Larson, Logano, Reddick, Bowman, Gregson, Stenhouse. More of a tournament lineup for me. Like Larson, Bowman, Gregson, Stenhouse is cashy, but I do think Reddick and Logano would be better suited for tournaments today. It's a good build though. I would throw that probably in a single entry rather than cash games. Raphael wants to know if this is a Larson and Byron stack the back of the field type of race. Not sure if I'm going to be like over the moon on William Byron today. I don't think it's impossible. But I do think like Larson could certainly mop up the field. That is 100% a possibility today. But I don't think you need to be like completely stacking the back. Because if this does get strung out and Larson's just putting guys lap down, it's going to be an issue for these guys in the back. Because I don't think passing is going to be too easy because the lap times were all very similar. And if they're all just running the same lap times, there's just going to be a Kyle Larson parade. And at that point, you'd want some of the guys starting up front that can at least steal some fast laps here and there. What's up, Brian? Strategy here. I guess I just went over that one, but playing mainly 3 to 4 drivers starting up front as it's hard to pass. Then Jason Scrub plays like 38 and the 4. Well, I'd be careful playing too much Gillen and Josh Berry today. Like, while it might be tough to pass, it's still likely that these guys will more than probably fade back at the end. Like, I have Josh Berry projected for... I got him for 30.9 points today, so it's not like he's in the slums. But at the same time, like, there's obviously downside for where he's starting in third. Because I did give him some downer points mixed in there. Because if you have track position to start, I think it's only fair to give you some potential downer points. But I'm not really a fan of the 38 too much today. And then 2 to 4 must plays for DK Chalk. Yeah, if you're playing cash games on DraftKings, either one of or both of Larson Hamlin, I think is a very good starting point. Then Alex Bowman, Ricky Stenhouse, no Gregson are all fine filler options. Tires are going to be an issue today. Hopefully the top guys stay out of trouble. Yeah, I mean, really all we can do is hope. If anyone says I know he's going to blow tires today, I'd like to see their crystal ball because there's just no way of knowing really. It might just be the guys that are going fast up front, and that'd be unfortunate that all the slow guys end up being the great plays, which I've seen happen before. Possible. Like, sure, Truex might be slow, but, you know, if all these guys have issues and he finishes 9th, yeah, it's great. A great day. So, like, if you want to play Truex in cash today, if you want to play Truex or Ty Gibbs, I have no issue with that in cash games. Just tournaments, I think you got to be careful with the ownership. Because it's still Truex at a short, flat track. Like button smash. I appreciate that, Nova. Chris is on the way. He's just fixing his hair. That was actually true. Yeah, pickleball must have went long. Always possibilities with me. Cosgralla for the win? I hope not. Although, wasn't it the Bristol race with the tire issues where Gralla and Justin Haley were just like legit running top 10? Maybe we'll see that once again. What's up, Bullet? It says, for DraftKings, how does Larson, Logano, Elliott, Chastain, Gregson, and Haley sound? That's a good tournament build. Logano, Elliott, Chastain, Haley will keep you pretty different. So I think that's a pretty good tournament build. Pure Chaos does feel like something wild could happen today. That's possible. Could be boring. Could be wild. Could be in the middle. I don't know. I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew I had a great idea. Look, choose well, Carmi. Hayden says, which hockey driver is most likely not to meet value? Hard question to answer because they are chalky for a reason, because they're likely to hit value. I would say if this does not turn into a wreck fest, potentially guys like Ty Gibbs and Martin Truex, if they just kind of get strung back there. But it depends on the kind of race we see. Nova says Larson. Larson's definitely going to have to run into an issue because he does have the clean air, and clean air is just king, and he's going to be able to stick it and most likely lead stage 1. But if he has an tire issue, I mean, he is going to probably be owned by about half the field today. And if you're playing single entries, he'll probably be upwards of 60, 70%, depending on the field size. So obviously, if anything happens to him, you don't have him. I mean, you're going to have massive leverage, but you could also just get absolutely dunked on if he does lead stage 1 and stage 2 and just mops up the field. So there's two sides to it, for sure. I personally really like Larson today. What's up, Dwayne? Says, hey, Chris, you like Bell over Hamlin plus 120 on DraftKings? I do have Hamlin better than Bell today. I don't feel too comfortable with that. I know we are getting plus odds with it. But personally, I mean, I think Denny could win this race. I have 2 bets. The one I'm not proud of, the one I do like. I have Hamlin to win at plus 700, and that's down to like 5 something. So whenever you can get positive line movement, you will take that. But the other one is not good. Not good. I don't want to say it, but I guess I will. It was Truex top 5 at plus 180. I got that on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and obviously that is horrible. I think I got it on Hard Rocks. That is currently at, you can shame me. See, he's at plus 325. So obviously that's not too good, but it happens. Downside of betting early in the week, obviously you can get great lines. Like, you know, sometimes you can get a plus 1600 as the favorite, a plus 300, or you can be in the way opposite direction. Nova says, I'd like him to win, but unknown track. We're talking about Larson. Yeah, it's certainly an unknown exactly what's going to happen today. I do know, the one thing we do know is that clean air is always important. And he does have that. Bell starting in the back? Yes, Bell is starting in the rear today with Austin Cindric, and they will keep their original qualifying spots for anyone that did not know that. If Bell was not going to the rear today, I would say he's probably the best play outside of Larson, but with him being in the rear, that definitely hurts his chances of being a potential dominator. But by the time stage 2, stage 3, or later portions of stage 2, stage 3 rolls around, chance he could be a contender if he's able to rip through the field. Because we have seen at these tracks that are absolutely impossible to pass, like Phoenix earlier in the year, and Gateway was pretty tough too. Who is the one guy that's passing everybody? It's Christopher Bell. So we'll see if that happens again today. Obviously, he wrecked his original car in practice, and he was the best car then, but now in a backup in the rear. We'll see how that plays out. We're still able to get a top 10 in qualifying, so obviously it doesn't suck. What's up, Joe? What's up, Nova? I know I've said hi to you guys a couple times already. What's up, Lena? Juan says, who's low owned? Well, if we're talking like the lowest owned drivers, I have that as like AJ Allmendinger, Todd Gillen, Gralla, Hosebar, Lane Smith. If you're talking about actual guys that have chances of scoring points today that are going to be low owned, I would say Bell's going to be lower owned today just because of him going to the rear. William Byron will be lower owned. Joey Logano. Slowski, I can't imagine is anything crazy. Busher will probably be decently low owned. Couple names out there. What's up, Super B? What's up, Daniel Suarez? Looks like you got a decent card today on paper. Doesn't mean I'm playing you. What's up, Jason? Chase Briscoe today, winner? Ooh. Possible. I mean, short flat tracks are his bread and butter, and you got a good qualifying spot, but I think it's likely he moves back. We'll see, though. Him and Josh Berry, very similar plays. Probably not a good sign that I'm just catching up to the cat so far. What's up, Neil? Says happy race night. I'm not sure what that is, but what's up, Neil? Tito says Reddick or log out. Yes, Tito, our biggest Truex fan, has changed his fandom to Tyler Reddick once the season ends. So we now have a new Reddick fan, which probably is not good news for Reddick with Tito's history of Martin Truex. Favorite cheap racer on DraftKings? I like Stenhouse. Probably my favorite cheap driver. Although favorite 6K driver would be Noah Gragson, but below him would be Stenhouse. And I don't think Stenhouse is going to be good today, but if he can just limp his way to a 25th place finish, we will take that. That's roughly 30 points. What's up, Pugsley? Says he went Larson, Keselowski, Reddick, Chastain, Gregson, and Haley. Did I do good? Should I drop down to Bowman? No, I think that looks pretty good. It's a good tournament build. I mean, Larson's obviously mega chalk, but Keselowski will keep you different, and I think this is a race where he could do fine. Reddick's got potential dominator points. Chastain I like in tournaments. Great. That's a good lineup. Haley keeps you off that Stenhouse, Austin Dillon chalk, too. What's up, Bonnie? Happy race day and happy Father's Day to all the dads. Chris, I've heard some people talking about placing a rule to limit the number of drivers starting the top 10 to a max of 2. Thoughts? I am not the biggest fan of that strategy. Just because, like, I know everyone's worried about tire issues, but I mean, it's not a guarantee that only the tire issues happen to the guys starting up front. Like, it could be guys in the back. Obviously, the guys up front are pushing it more. So we'll see. I don't really like that because I think there's a lot of builds that would look good if I went like Larson, Elliott, and Reddick. Like, I think that's perfectly fine to do today. And then limiting myself out of that, I'm not a big fan of. I wouldn't do it personally. Who are the true short track guys? I mean, the guys that have been the best. If we look at the 3-year sample size this year, the guys that have been the best at short flats, just average running position wise, are Chris Ravel, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Larson, Reddick. Somewhat surprising. And if we go back to a 15-race sample size of similar tracks in the next gen era, we see Larson, Hamlin, Blaney, Truex, Byron, Logano, Bell. Like, I know Barry's good on short tracks and things like that, but I mean, those have just been the best drivers in the next gen at the short flat tracks. What's up, Charles? Says, hey, Chris, new track equal. Got to bet Logano. I mean, he definitely has a good track record of doing well at these newer tracks. I can't argue that. And it says, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Yes, sir. What's up, Charles? Says, hey, Chris, as I stated last week, I can never predict Truex. Thoughts on him this week? Also, 1 Dom and PD or 2 Doms and place differential. I got to give a quick shout out to Martin Truex Jr. last week because the week prior, I had a lot of Blaney and he runs out of gas. Now, it did shoot up some of my lineups without Blaney. I had a very good week because of it, although I would not have liked Blaney to do that. But Martin Truex Jr. running out of gas last week was huge for me because I was underweight. He got the pit strategy right, and I was a little salty. I was like, well, he got there in pit strategy, but it is what it is. That can happen at road courses, but runs out of gas and shoots my lineups up because I did not have much of him. So I appreciate that, MTJ. But what do I think about him this week? Probably going to be underweight just because I feel like I can get more ceiling out of some of these drivers starting closer to the front over Martin Truex. I think he's a better play on FanDuel compared to DraftKings today. So I will have exposure on FanDuel, but I don't think he's going to make my main lineup. And he says, also 1 Dom and PD or 2 Doms and PD. I think he won at least 2 Doms today. Like, there's just a lot of downer points to go around. You just can't ignore him. I wouldn't forget the Doms today. Ugly second lineup. So you went with Larson, Hamlin, love that. Chastain, Bowman, Priest, and Haley. Which do we prefer of the two I sent? I think I like that one better, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for the Larson Hamlin lineups today. I think they'll just be the top two guys, so I like that one a lot. Patrick is going with Larson, Logano, Reddick, Briscoe, Gregson, Priest for single entry GPP. Briscoe is very bold for a single entry. I don't think I could do it personally, but if you can stomach it, I like the rest. I think it looks pretty good. You have a bit of an SHR thing going on there. CM says he's used most of the big name guys. I was hoping to pick a mid-level guy this week. Oh, are you talking like for a pool? Like you use one drive or something like that that's out there. People ask me and I don't know exactly what it's about. But I can understand doing that for like a new track. Darren says, Dylan Reddick, Larson, Bowman, Gibbs, Gregson okay for DraftKings? Yeah, that's fine. If your main Dom, then you have Reddick as like a second tier Dom. Yeah, I think that's fine. Better finish, position-wise, Elliott versus Bell. I believe I have Bell, slightly higher. A little bit worrisome with him in the rear, but at the end of the day, I do think Bell can get there. Just dominating is a different story. Any drivers to the rear, that'd be Christopher Bell and Austin Cindric, unless there's somebody else that Bob added. I have not checked his Twitter in a little bit. I'll pull it up though. Doesn't look like anybody else is to the rear as far as I know. And we're also not getting an extra set of tires for teams today, and he says at least for the moment. But yeah, looks like we're good. Juan says, Chris, every week, Kyle Larson for the win. Let's go. Bet the house on it. We can't do it every week. We'd be poor eventually. But this is not the worst week to have Larson to win tickets. That's for sure. Crick TV says, $12 single entry. How much can I safely leave on the table for a chance? Wouldn't leave too much. This is a 350 lap race, so you're going to want these guys up top that can secure those dominator points. I wouldn't leave too much on the table today. I'm looking at some of my top lineups here, just raw projection wise, not using any settings. It looks like the least salary used in 20 quick builds was 800 on the table. And I just saw Daniel sign up for Patreon, so I do appreciate that if you're watching the stream. You have all the extra content over there, and it would probably answer all your questions that you guys are asking me. I have no problem answering them. But if you do want it quicker, in a quicker fashion, they're all on there. Okay, Dwayne says he switched to Bowman, Busher, Gibbs, Gregson, Larson, Stenhouse. I think that does look better. I'm pretty sure, Dwayne, you were the one with Kyle Busch in your build. I just don't trust Kyle Busch at these tracks. I always fade him. If it bites me, I guess it bites me, but it usually works out. So I think that lineup looks a little better. Braden says, this is a hard track to pass and get place differential? A great question, because we've never been here for the Cup Series, so it's like, well, not exactly sure. You would think so, because in the next gen era, short flat tracks are basically impossible to pass in. Everyone's running the same lap times, and it's just stupid. Let me pull up. Not a big fan of the NASCAR website. They make it not easy to navigate. All right, I'm pulling up the practice here really quick. All right, if you look at the lap averages, so no Gregson topped the 5 lap average. Again, I'm not really sure how much to put in these 5 lap averages, but the numbers are the specific thing here. So the leader for the 5 lap average was 23.249. You look at the leader in the 20 lap average, 23.368. I mean, Bowman had like 0.1 fall off from the 5 to the 20 lap run. So, I mean, if everyone's just running the same lap times, it's just going to be hard to pass because of that. If people are passing, I mean, it's probably due to tire issues, or if there is just major tire issues and guys know that and they just kind of let off a little bit. I mean, guys that are pushing it will end up making passes for guys that are saving tires, but then they can make up for it later in the run. So that's where we'd probably see some passing, or just obviously on pit road, or if there's carnage. Yeah, but like on track, green flag runs, I mean, feel like it's going to be parade-ish. Obviously, there's going to be some guys passing. I imagine Bell will be making passes in the back. But I think you get what I mean. Larson, Hale, and Ross. Wallace, Gregson, and Haley. I mean, it looks good. Wallace and Haley will keep you different in that one. The rest is pretty decently chalky. I mean, Ross isn't going to be over the moon ownership-wise, but the tournament build. CJ says not a huge Bubba fan, but that Grimace car is sick. I agree. That Grimace car is sweet. I also really like Reddick's. He's in the Hamburglar car or whatever it is. I think that looks pretty good. When I went to Homestead last October, I'm pretty sure they did the whole McDonald's character theme thing. So I got to see it in person. It was pretty cool. Is it okay to have Larson and Blaine in the same lineup with them starting 1 and 2? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, would it be my first choice? Probably not. But if I'm building multiple lineups, yeah, I can see myself having that eventually. I mean, there's a very possible chance where Larson leads stage 1, Blaney hangs around top 3 all day, and he gets his chance to lead laps at some point. I don't think Kyle Larson's going to lead every single lap today. And people are always scared to do that, but I don't think it's... I mean, people would play 1-3 together. What's the difference if you play 1-2? Gibbs, Jones, and Nemechek for back of the pack. I mean, definitely Gibbs. Although, issue is it's just a major price difference, but if price doesn't matter, Ty Gibbs for sure. Holy Jack Daniels wants to know, over-under on cars going down with flats today. Oh, I don't know. Is there a line out there we could bet on? I wouldn't even know what to put the number on. Put the number at it. I'm going to hope the under hits, just because I know it'll be my guys that have the flat tires. Braden says over 5. So if we're putting the line at 4.5, I would take the over on that. Ryan says Keselowski is not being talked about enough. I'll talk about him, Ryan. I like Keselowski today in tournaments. I really like him on FanDuel. Like he's okay on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, I really like Kes today because I don't need him to dominate because I don't think he dominates today. But if he just is like pesky and stays around the top 5, he gets fast laps. He's good on long runs. If he just finishes around 5th today on FanDuel, I'll take that. He's only $9,000 over there. And based off the pricing, like on DraftKings, the highest price is $11,000. He's $9,200 on DraftKings. Highest price on FanDuel is $14,000. He's only $9,000 on FanDuel. Like I think he's a really good tournament FanDuel play. And honestly, I'm considering playing him in my main single entry over there too. Because the dude just keeps racking in good finishes. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again. And this could be a track where some of the veteran drivers end up excelling. Just due to trying to manage their tires a bit. DK leveled up with the new NASCAR driver photos. Yeah, they, I think, wasn't it like Keselowski the only guy that didn't get a new one or something? I think someone said that. But it was nice to see they actually gave us an update. FanDuel, you get stuck with just the car numbers. What's up, Johnny Z? So his last one in, Reddick, Elliott, Busher, or Bowman for single entry and 20 max. Projection-wise, I have Reddick the highest. Obviously, he's not the safest of the bunch, but projection-wise, that's what it is. What's the construction, says Apone? I mean, just how you build for like a Phoenix race is how I'd build today. I wouldn't like go insane on place differential. I mean, I think some of the PD gets there, but he might be a little bit overowned today. Like, just for example, if Truex comes in at like around 30-ish%, I have my optimal around like 20-ish%. So I'd want to be underweight. Like, I'm not saying don't play Truex. We'll fade the guy. Don't even look at him today. But being underweight, I think, is fair. I do think he'll be overowned. It's probably same with Ty Gibbs. But with so much uncertainty today, if there's just a bunch of chaos and he finds himself in 11th at the end of the day, I don't think he can complain too much. Thing is, though, I mean, if you just nail 2 dominators, like Larson leads 150 and say Blaney leads 100 laps, those guys are going to outscore Truex. So, like, you don't have to play them. If this was a road course, yeah, I get it because there's not as many laps. But the downer points definitely matter today. Will this be a wreck fest? I don't know. I'd be lying if I told you I know. There's just a lot of uncertainty today. It's a new track. Practice, we had tire failures. Track conditions could be different today. It's going to be hot. This is also going to turn into a night race at some point. I'd imagine. I don't know what the sunset is in Iowa, but I'm imagining. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. A lot of uncertainty today. I'd like to give you guys a better answer, but I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to sound smart and lie like, yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen, because I do not. I was just looking at some updated odds here, and nothing has really changed too much. Larson's down to 350. It's me. It's Ernest T. Says, for GP, what guys starting in the back and expect them to be in the winning lineup? I think it's kind of easy for like the Stenhouse, Dillon types to be in the optimal, just limping their way to 25th. I have them more likely to be optimal than like say Ty Gibbs, Truex, because they have to do a lot more at their price tags. But for GPPs, I mean, they're all going to be kind of chalky. But I do think Ryan Preece will probably be lower owned than the Stenhouse, Austin Dillon type. So if you're trying to get lower ownership, I think Ryan Preece is a fine pivot. We know this is a track where he should do decent at, a shorter flat track. And his teammates obviously had speed in qualifying. Dom groups today? I mean, the main Doms would be like Larson, Hamlin, Blaney, Keselowski, Reddick, Elliott. For me, am I missing anybody? Denny Hamlin, Bell, and Byron. Well, Bell is more of like a stage 3 threat, and then obviously Byron could be in there too. But I'd set that to at least 2 per build today. Jake's top 5 finishers. Yeah, you might have missed it. I did go over that, but let me pull it up. So I have it Larson, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell, and Reddick for my top 5. Although, I want to just mention that everybody from Hamlin to Keselowski for me is almost not Hamlin, but from like Bell and Reddick down to Keselowski for like my top 10, it's all under a blanket. So very, very, very tight there. Caleb says, I'm so late after MLB games. Hey, no problem at all. I'm always late to my own anyway. Don't worry about it. You think Bell will be contrarian or chalky? I feel like Carnage can help him a ton here. I do think Bell should be lower owned. Like, he's not going to be higher owned than Kyle Larson. He should be lower owned than Denny Hamlin because I would think they're the same plays, but Hamlin doesn't have to go to the rear. So I would just imagine more people click on Hamlin. So he should be lower owned. No, I don't think he'll be chalky. And yeah, if we have multiple cautions, Carnage, that helps Bell. The more times we can get bunched up and get some restarts and doesn't get strung out, that helps him. I am not a big fan of Dinger today. Just does not project well for where he's starting. I think he's in, is it 18th? Yeah, Dinger's in 18th today. I got him predicted for around 24th. I just don't really see much upside there. Keith wants to know Larson and Dillon or Hamlin and Preece for a DraftKings single entry. Thank you. I will go with Larson and Dillon. I would just have a really hard time fading Larson. I know it's chalk, but I mean, there's a really good chance he could dominate the race today. What's up, Sean? Says hello from Virginia. Any concern how the trials were rated for rankings position? You mean like qualifying or practice? I do think the practice numbers are all over the board. I wouldn't get married to practice. That's what you mean. Because do we really think Blaney has, like Blaney qualifying second, do we really think he's going to be like a borderline top 30 car based off the 10 and 15 lap averages? I don't think so. So, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just, practice was weird. It was very weird. I'm not going to try to put a ton into it. If we don't look at consecutive lap data, and we remove some of the noisy laps, the top speeds, just overall average was Christopher Bell, Chastain, Bowman, Reddick, Gregson, Hamlin, Wallace, Blaney, Larson. And that obviously doesn't equate to some of these lap averages. So it's just really weird this week. Don't really know what to expect, to be honest. And I got done from Pugsley. I just noticed that for some. I don't know why. Sometimes they don't pop up. It says, do we like Bubba? I don't love him that much. It's just the 7K range is not a range I am really getting to. Optimal wise, I think he is. I have him a little bit lower than, which was surprising. I have him lower than Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry, which I did not think would happen when I recorded my video yesterday, but I guess just the extra dominator points gave them a slight edge there. So I'm not really big on Bubba today. It's just a weird range for me anyway. I'm not going to be heavy on any of those 7K drivers. Is Ty Gibbs a good play for DraftKings single entry? He's going to be chalky. I do think he's going to be overowned. There's other pivots to get to. Like, he doesn't suck by any means. But I do think there's, like, if you're trying to get lower ownership, I think there's better plays. Like, you can get Elliott Reddick, who can stay within the top 10, get fast laps. You have Keselowski right above him, Joey Logano. I do think he's going to be a little bit overowned today. Has Busch effectively quit? It seems like it, doesn't it? When we're watching the race. I don't know. I played him last week. He still did good for where he started, but man, something always happens to that guy because we were going to get a top 5 finish. But yeah, he's a tough one to trust, especially these types of tracks. I've effectively quit on him, at the very least, the short flats. Braden's going Bowman, Chastain, Gilly, Gregson, Larson, Reddy. Personally, for me, I am not a huge Gilliland fan today, but I do like the rest. So if it's just your last piece fit, whatever, I guess. I don't really know who you'd pivot to. Like, I think Ryan Preece might offer more upside there. But if you're chasing the track position, I mean, for me, I would go Preece, but that's a good build. Let's get money, says Denny. I would agree. That'd be a good idea. Any Briscoe in your sights? I'll have little Briscoe today. Like, if I'm in my 20 builds, I'm on 150s, he's going to get sprinkled in. But in my 1 to 3 hand builds that I'm going to do, he will not make it. Yeah, I do like Bowman today. I mean, Bowman showed speed in practice. And I want to reiterate that I don't know how much I want to put into practice, but he's in a Hendrick car at $8,000 starting the 33rd. He's only $7,200 on FanDuel. I don't think he's going to be a 38th place car today. He should be able to move up. He's a good cash play. Definitely other guys to get to in tournaments, though. McDowell, GP's thoughts for a DraftKings, not single entry, but just for DraftKings in general. He's in that weird range, $7,200. Kind of hate all the 7K drivers. He's starting in 22nd. Don't really see too much improvement coming from him. Not huge on McDowell. Dustin Suarez today is the last man in. I would rather just drop $100 than no Gregson personally. Don't really trust Mr. Suarez today. I scrolled down, just saw a donut from Jeff. Appreciate that, but sorry for being a little bit late on it. For some reason, they don't pop up. I don't know why. But I have 6,700 left on DraftKings. I have Stenhouse already. I would go with Ryan Preece there, but if you could find an extra $200 for Noah Gregson, I would love that. But I would go with Ryan Preece. I do appreciate the dono, Jeff. Let me scroll back up. Lost my spot. Preece for the win? No, not for the win, but I think a win for Ryan Preece today would be a top 25. That'd be a nice win today. Building a lineup. Who are the top 2 DOMs you would want? Larson and Hamlin, my top 2 dogs today. Lower owned one, I guess I would say Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, or Keselowski. Like, I like that for like the second tier DOMs today. If we're excluding Ryan Blaney because he's more expensive. Hopefully that answered the one from Coach. But the guys with the most upside for dominators today, I have it as Larson, Blaney, Hamlin. Do I like Keselowski on FanDuel today? Yes, Keselowski is a really good FanDuel play today for tournaments. He's just cheap over there for $9,000 for a guy that has shown he has plenty of top 5 upside. These types of tracks, and if we're looking at his sample size, small sample size, I should say. But 3 races at Phoenix, Richmond, and Gateway. 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, average finish of 5th, rank position of 11.3. I have no reason to believe, outside of any issues happening, where Keselowski is not a top 5-ish contender today. Best cheapies, ask Kiefer, who's the cheapest to play. Cheap guys that I'm going to get to, below $7,000 are going to be No Gregson, Ryan Preece, Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse. From your projections, is the optimal way to go today. Good way to go. I mean, it's a good build. It depends what kind of contest you're playing. Like, if you're playing cash games, I don't think I'd play Larson Blaney together. Probably try to get like a Larson Hamlin. in there. Like if you wanted to play Larson, like this one's like the 4th highest. Larson, Hamlin, Ross, Bowman, then Dylan Stenhouse. I could see that being fine. Less downside there with not having a guy starting 1-2 for cash games. Hamlin starting 12th, and the rest is kind of PD-ish with Ross and Bowman and the 2 obvious guys down low. But I don't like cash this week because I don't know what to do with Truex and Gibbs. It's really tough. Guys, you know they're going to have ownership. It just depends what kind of race we get. I don't think they're going to have any dominator upside, which does hurt their ceilings in tournaments, which is what I'm focused on. Caleb says, I have Ross, Haley, Hamlin, and Larson. I don't know what else for my last. Caleb, if you could tell me how much money you have left, I could help you out there. Phyllis says, haven't heard you say much about Denny. You're just playing Larson over him. That's my mistake. I do love Denny today a lot. Yeah, I love Denny. I'm actually considering going Denny or Larson in my FanDuel main lineup. But I'm trying to play both of them as much as I can. I love Denny Hamlin today. I got to bet on him to win. Should be a good track for him. I think he's too cheap on DraftKings. So by all means, I love Denny Hamlin tonight. So don't get it twisted. I'm getting more questions and stuff about Larson, I feel like. So I guess maybe that's where that's coming from. Carmi says he thinks it's a Toyota night. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Wouldn't be surprised. Appreciate that, Sean. It certainly does. And the like goes a long way. James wants to know, outright winner, not named Larson, please. My only bet for the winner is plus 700 Denny Hamlin. That number is not available anymore, but you can use a boost. I believe DraftKings is doing a 33% boost today on NASCAR bets. If you guys did not know that, at least that's what I've been told. And you could do that if you want. That might get you, I guess, to plus 700. Current though, outright bets that have value. I'm using Caesar odds to compare, but Byron shows value at plus 1600. Elliott and Reddick are showing value at plus 1200 apiece over on Caesars. I have Byron fair at plus 1342, Elliott fair at plus 1094, and Reddick fair at plus 1124. That's the value I am showing. I don't know if there's a book out there that's offering Larson at plus 450 or above, but I would have value on that. But other than that, I wouldn't go lower than 436. So. Do I expect a lot of chaos on this race? I'm not really sure. I think there's a decent chance it could be boring if they figured out the tires. I don't know. The short flat tracks just usually suck. Usually a parade of whoever's got the clean air. And it's not usually that exciting. So we'll see what happens. I just don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to. Could go either way. I am building just how I normally. I think if this race was at Phoenix, that's how my lineups look. Sean says 332 watching, 88 likes. Shame. It is a shame, Sean, but we'll never get the 1-to-1 ratio. It'll just never happen, unfortunately. Honestly, that's not a bad ratio, I don't think. Not too bad, but we could get it better. Coach says minus 240 the pace car pits for tires for the might. You know, we need the pace car to blow a tire, and I think that would kind of complete the weekend. Steven says, hi, Chris. Thanks for everything. Yes, Steven won the comment contest last week. Steven, if you could hit me up on social media or my email, I would love to send you the cash prize because I did not hear back from you yet. So if you could do that somehow, some way, I would like to. I'd appreciate that. And he says, your projection for Priest? I have it as... If I can find it, I'd love to tell you. Okay, I got him at for 28.44 today. It's a 22.78 projected finish, and obviously no dominator points. So that is the Ryan Priest projection. Charles says, Eric Jones a complete fader. Can we have a share? Would depend on how many lineups you're building. If I'm playing one lineup to 3, I don't think I would play Eric Jones. Just slow. And I feel like I can get the same upside from Dylan Stenhouse and I start further back. Ryan says, Chase Briscoe, I am all in. It's bold. It's ballsy. I wish you the best on it. I certainly can't be all in. Bung says it's a new track to bet on Logano. It's been as easy as that, honestly. Kevin says Keselowski, Reddick, Larson, Hamlin, Stenhouse. Thoughts? Really good build. I mean, you have Larson, Hamlin. I love that. Keselowski and Reddick. Oh, it's a FanDuel lineup. I was gonna say I feel like we're running out of money on DraftKings, but yeah, that's a good FanDuel lineup. We need Stenhouse to limp his way to 25th on FanDuel. I don't usually play those guys in the back, but if we can get the 25th, I think it can work out. Pit strategies will shift a lot. What do you think? I feel like we're gonna need tires though. I don't know. We'll see what kind of strategy we have. I feel like everyone's gonna need tires every time. I don't know if anyone's gonna want to trust to not take 4 tires. We'll see though. What's up, Timothy? Says late to the show, but what are your stands today? A lot of Larson, a lot of Hamlin. Also gonna have a lot of Reddick, a lot of Elliott, a lot of Gregson. Bowman I'll have a good chunk of. Just some quick hitters there, I guess. All Hendrick and 2 punts? I probably don't want to do all Hendrick. It might be. But actually, that might fit. Now that I think about it, because you have 2 of them in the AK range, and then it might fit. Depends what the punts are. Caleb says, I also think it can be a veterans race today because of looking at the tire issue. I'm saying look at Bristol. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, if you look at Bristol, who were the top 3? I think it was Hamlin, Keselowski, Truex, who were the veteran drivers that how to manage their stuff. Keselowski, Truex, and Hamlin. Tyler Reddick or Chase Elliott on DraftKings single entry. Mari, I was hoping no one would ask me this question because it's impossible. Like, seriously, it's impossible. I have Elliott at 47.99. I have Reddick at 48.29. They're basically the same exact play. I have Reddick 0.3 higher, so I will say Reddick. But honestly, it's very close. Any Cindric love? No, I don't usually like Cindric. Most weeks I don't like him. And he's going to the rear, so it just seems like an unnecessary risk for me with the starting position of 21st. See Mitch says, happy race day, everyone. Happy race day to you as well. See Mitch, or happy race night, I should say. Best of luck tonight. Let's get it. Let's do it. Not a big fan of Dinger tonight, Apone. Chris Ernest says, I know nothing. Me too. I feel the same way this week, so don't fret. Says he has Hamlin, Reddick, Chastain, Bowman, Wallace, Gregson. It's not bad, to be honest. I mean, if you know absolutely nothing, it's really not that bad. I mean, I would say fire away. It doesn't look too bad. Pure Chaos is fading Hamlin. Marius says thoughts on Bubba Wallace. Just a weird price range for me. It's just not a range I'm getting to very often. Last piece fit, like, let's just say you have 70. You have like say you have like 7,800 left. I kind of hate all of those guys. Besides, I'd probably go to Gregson, to be honest, at that point. But yeah, it's just a weird price range to be in, so I don't want to be a part of it too much. Steven says top builders Larson, Elliott, Hamlin, Gregson, Priest, Stenhouse. I think it looks pretty good. You have 3 potential dominators there, and Gregson, I mean, he has sneaky top 10 upside today, more so top 15. Priest, Stenhouse looks good. Chastain or Bowman or Briscoe, pick one. If it's cash games, Bowman. If it's tournaments, Chastain. Ty Gibbs get any type of place differential tonight? Yeah, I think he's going to pass some cars. I don't think he's going to be finishing 25th tonight. I have him projected to finish 18.04. A little bit off market for his odds. But, I mean, I think he'll pass some guys. Charles says, Logano and bet on Ford to win. Fords tonight are fast. I will have my fair share of Fords. I'll be honest, I'm not really getting any Blaney questions tonight, so maybe he'll be lower owned than my thoughts. I thought he's going to be in the mid-20s. Maybe that's not right, because I don't think really anyone's asked me about Ryan Blaney tonight much at all. Sean says he's in the Bowman Bobo and Chris to confirm. It's just more of like an ownership thing. Like if I'm in tournaments, I think Ross is the pivot. But if it's cash games or if you just need if you're going for the chalkier build at Bowman. But David says any top 5 plays? Oh, you mean like bets? Value wise, I show one. I'm using Caesar odds, so it could be different, but I am showing value on Ryan Blaney top 5 at plus 140. I believe that's what it is over on Caesars, unless I missed the minus 140, which I feel like it should be minus 140. I don't know. But if it is plus 140 still, I have a decent amount of leverage on that, honestly. Because I have him fair at plus 125. Let me see what Hard Rock has. Hard Rock has no plus 120, so no value on that. Honestly, I feel like I made a grab the wrong line from Caesars, but if it's still plus 140 over there, I like that for a top 5 on Ryan Blaney. It shows 2.8% leverage for me. Tsurugi says 7,800 left for cash. Thoughts on who you like? That's funny. I just went over how I absolutely hate. Yeah, 7,800 bucks and below. I hate that. For me, honestly, probably Gregson. You're leaving some money on the table, but that's what I'd go with. Astor says, Happy Father's Day, everyone. Sorry I'm late because I was on the phone with my dad. No problem at all. No problem at all. So CJ the Great has been watching. He's my other half. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know CJ. He's always been here. So shout out to him. And yeah, Happy Father's Day to everybody. And I'm late to my own show anyway, so don't worry. Pure Chaos says, Elliott, Bowman, or Ross? Projection-wise, I'd have Elliott. I know I'm behind the chat, so I think Steven saw that. But yeah, Steven, if you can hit me up on social media, send me a DM on either Twitter, Instagram, whatever it may be. Or if you can find my email, it's like on my YouTube info or something. Do that. Just for anyone that has one, YouTube just deletes comments instantly that have anything to do with like a PayPal or Venmo or like a link of any sorts. So it just, I don't see it. I just hit my microphone. So you have to reach me on like social media or something. Dave wants to know about the Reddick top 5 at plus 155 though. I have him fair at 161, so I mean like it's close enough to where if you wanted to bet that, I wouldn't hate it. It's close though. Haley or Nemechek, last driver in. That is ugly. I have Nemechek by 0.4. Austin wants to know McDowell and Priest or Chastain and Burton. Oh, that is ugly, but I guess I'd probably go Chastain just because I think he has the better ceiling in that group. I mean, Burton absolutely sucks, but I mean, Ross has that 50-point upside that I don't think either of the other two have in the first one. Ross is going Bowman, Dillon, Brad K, Larson, Priest, and Reddick on DraftKings. It's a good build right there. I like that. Dave Palma says, who's going to lead the most laps and how many? There's a contest I need to enter. My projections, if I was giving an answer based off that, I would say Larson at 89.1. I'm very conservative in my dominator points because I mean, who the heck knows how the entire race is going to go dominator wise, so I got to spread it out a little bit. But if I was playing the game, since everybody's for all of our DFS purposes, I hope Larson just absolutely crushes this race. But if Larson ends up leading the most laps, I have like 100 Larson comments to go through and figure out who's the closest, and I'm not looking forward to that. So I would pick Blaney and just hope he had to compete against like 5 other people instead of the 100 that pick Larson. Joseph says I'm going Hamlin top 5. I would say it's likely he top 5s. We'll see though. I have him finishing top 5. Well, I guess I can't say likely. I have him finishing top 5 46.3% of the time. But again, I'm conservative with my stuff like that. Yes, I am looking for Steven. Chad says my lineup is already stacked the back heavy. Hamlin, Hemrick, or Gibbs and Stenhouse. Well, if you're like really heavy on stack the back, we need a potential dominator, so I'd have to go Hamlin, Hemrick, even though I don't like Hemrick today. So that answer was under the assumption that you don't have a guy that can lead a bunch of laps unless you already have Larson, maybe. Chastain or Keselowski? I got Keselowski points 0.8 higher. 0.8 higher in projection. Or no, I take that back. I have him 4 points higher. So I guess I'd say Keselowski. Logano and Hemrick or Bowman and Nemechek? Oh, man. Can I pass on that? I don't like that question. Well, let's see. We have Bowman at 43. Yeah, well, Bowman Nemechek's going to project better, so I'll go with that one. It's just Hemrick that's really dragging down the Joey one. Dwayne says Hamlin better not blow his engine again. Yeah, hopefully not. This would not be a good race for that to happen. I was underweight on him last week. I mean, obviously I don't know if I got lucky, but I mean, I got lucky to lose engine right away. We don't know how it was going to play out. But I would not be a fan of that happening this week. I agree, Michael. Shout out to them all. Who's the best? 6,400 left. Thank you. Looks like Stenhouse would be the top option for me. 6,400 less. Reese says McDowell, Hamlin, Reddick, Bowman, Jones, Keselowski. McDowell and Jones are iffy plays for me, but I love the Hamlin, Reddick, Bowman, Keselowski plays. I won't be too picky on the other two. Yeah, no problem, James. No problem at all. Foster's, I think today will be eventful. We'll see. Hope so. Maybe. I don't know. I like boring races. They're easier to project usually. Sean says, if one tire blows, how bad could it get? We'll see. We will see. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I know something's going to happen. Rick says, Larson, Hamlin, Bowman, Gregson, Stenhouse, Wallace on single entry and DraftKings. What's your advice, Chris? Love Larson, love Hamlin, love Bowman, love Gregson, Stenhouse. I'm just going to assume Wallace is your last piece fit, so I'm not going to argue with it. So I think that looks good. What manufacturer would you group up on in DraftKings? I don't think I would specifically build around manufacturers, but I would say Toyota if I had to, I guess. I've been really strong at these tracks. But I'm personally not building like that way because I think Denny's going to be awesome. I think Blaney will be awesome. And I think Larson's going to be awesome today. And no, that's 3 different manufacturers. Lena says, I have a single turn DraftKings. She's going Blaney, Elliott, Gregson, Larson, Priest, Stenhouse. I have $1,100 left. Look okay, or would you switch one out? I mean, it looks pretty good. The one thing you could maybe upgrade is like a Priest or Stenhouse, but I'll be honest, I don't know where I would go because all those guys in the 7K range are pretty trash. So I think it looks fine. The only thing you could maybe upgrade is either a Blaney to a Hamlin since you already have Larson. If that fits, it'd be close. But it's still a fine lineup. It'll definitely, you'll 100% be unique with $1,100 left in a single entry. B. Keen says I only play 2 lines. Usually play all different drivers, but thinking Bowman and both thoughts. He's one of the safer options to go both on. I haven't projected over 5x today, one of the better value point per dollar wise drivers, so I guess I can hate on that. Suarez, I'm not a big fan of Suarez today, Brian, just starting a little bit too far up for me. Sean says, DraftKings needs to pay you more. I wouldn't bet on NASCAR friends here, but I wish they'd pay me at all. That'd be nice. But appreciate that. I'm glad some of you got into NASCAR because of me. Seem says, slid in late. I did too, don't worry. Any single entry insight beyond Larson and Hamlin? Yeah, it's pretty easy, isn't it? Single entry, I think if you're trying to get like a 3rd level dominator, Reddick or Elliott would be pretty good. But other than that, Bowman, Chastain, Gregson, other good pieces to fit in. And then Stenhouse, Austin, Dillon down low would make sense. It says Gillen, Hamlin, Larson, Ryan, Priest, and Reddick, 6,700 left. Gregson, that's easy, right? He's 6,700 or is he 69? No. Is there any way maybe you could move Gillen to Gregson? And that leaves us with like maybe like a Stenhouse, right? I think that would look good. Chad says Hamlin, Hemrick, or Gibson, Stenhouse. I'm going with Hamlin just because I think he's got like a good ceiling. Gibson, Stenhouse are they're good floor plays, but I'll go with that. If you're chasing the ceiling, the answer is Hamlin, Hemrick in tournaments. If it's cash games, go with Gibson, Stenhouse. Super B says, you're telling me a shrimp fried this rice. That's impossible. It's so stupid. It's kind of funny. Austin says, McTalon, Priest, or Ross, neither Burton or Hemrick. Man, why am I getting so many Hemrick questions today? I mean, I guess I'll go Ross and Hemrick. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to say. But at least Ross has like more of a ceiling on him. Done swapped off a Bowman. And I feel like, yeah, don't get me wrong, Bowman's a great play today, but there's just so many pivots in that range. Like, 8K range is loaded. Chastain, Busher, Elliott, Reddick. Now, the 7K range is terrible, which is why, I mean, hard to not play a lot of Bowman because once you get past Bowman below him, it's just kind of like a wasteland of some SHR cars and Bo Wallace. C64 says he has a parlay of McElroy and Chevy. McElroy and Byron top 5, McElroy and Bell. I was going to say, I have absolutely no idea about golf, but tap for first with 1 hole to go. I like your chances. I don't know how likely it is he wins. Like, I don't really, I know how golf is played, but I don't follow it in the slightest. But I'm going to wish the best for you. C64. Charles says, start a lineup, Larson, Denny, Blaney, and fill in from there. It's pretty heavy, top heavy right there. I feel like you can maybe drop one of those two down to one of those AK drivers with dominator upside, and the lineup will probably look a little bit better. Not saying you can't do it, but if I'm building one lineup, I don't think it'd be the top way I go. Timothy says he's debating last driver for cash. It's between Austin Dillon, John Hunter Nemechek, Priest, or Eric Jones. I'm wondering why the projection is so low for John Hunter Nemechek, as well as whether you think 80 slow, practice qualifying matters. Well, the sun has started attacking me, I've just realized. And I just realized it's 6:22. I've been going for a while. So for John Hunter Nemechek, I'm at 30.71. I just don't really have speed the legacy cars do. And he has been just a magnet for spinning almost every single week, it seems like. So not really like in love with John Hunter Nemechek. Austin Dillon, I feel like should be a little bit better. I know he's slow too, but based off of what we've seen this year at similar tracks, average finish for Austin Dillon, 20.7, right position around 24th. I just feel like we have some slightly better upside. Nemechek's at around 25th for his running position. So, I mean, they're not going to be great speed-wise. But for cash games, the answer to that question, I would go with Austin Dillon. Yancey says, FanDuel lineup, Larson, Halen Gregson, Elliott, and Bowman. That is my girlfriend's last name, so I was very confused. But anyway, Larson, Halen, Gregson, Elliott, Bowman. Yeah, it's a great FanDuel lineup. Love that a lot. Gregson's really cheap on FanDuel too, so you can make a lot of things work. Ben Roberts says, hey, I have Larson, Reddick, Chastain, Bowman, Wallace, and Stenhouse. What do you think? I'm very indifferent on Bubba today, but I mean, if it's just like your last fit, I have no problem with that. What's up, Kay? Glad you got off work. I'm seeing the chalk drivers are Larson, Hamlin, Gibbs, Truex, Bowman, Gregson, and Austin Dillon. Yes, most likely. Am I missing any other chalk drivers? I think Stenhouse will be pretty owned too. Kind of easy to just fill him in there, but yeah, I think that'll be pretty chalky today. Is 100% Reddick on 5 lineups in large GPP bad? How's your projection on him, please? I haven't projected very well. Issue with Reddick is he's not someone I'd go 100% on because he is a major wild card every single week. Usually can't trust him to run an entire race, so I would not play 100% probably. If you want to be like crazy on him, 3 out of 5, probably where I'd feel comfortable. Larson runs out of gas last lap. Well, the trends have trended that way, so see what happens. 7,200 lower on DraftKings, already have Gregson and Hocevar. I'd probably say Ryan Preece there. Not a surprise. No problem at all, Astro. I would say Austin Dillon then. Yeah, Austin Dillon. No problem at all, Tony. Drivers in the back are going to be Christopher Bell and Austin Cindric. AJ says, we finally got the new headshots. Yeah, finally. But Larson, Bowman, Keselowski, Wallace, Chastain, and Haley. Good turn build. You have Larson, Keselowski will keep you different. I feel like a lot of people are landing on Wallace as like their mid guy, which, you know, it's whatever. But yeah, it looks fine. Obi says, runs out of gas in the last lap. It leads 157. Would you still roster Larson? I guess it depends on how many guys run the lead lap when he runs out of gas. If it ran green at the end, we have 15 guys. Yeah. If he finished 15th and led 157 laps, I'd be okay with it. Best FanDuel plays? Larson, Hamlin, Elliott. I like Gregson over there. I like Keselowski quite a bit. Tyler Reddick. Chad says I already have Larson, but he's my only Dom. Larson, Hamlin, Bowman, Truex, then house Hemrick. Thoughts? More of a cash build with a group of friends. Yeah, if you're playing cash games, I really don't think Hemrick is necessary. So if you could drop maybe just one of your top dogs to get like a better, cheaper play, I'd feel more comfortable with that. I don't know. Maybe Hemrick if Hemrick just has a clean race and other guys wreck out, he could finish 28th and it works out. But I don't know, just yeah. CJ the Great says I forgot to leave my dad joke. Oh, good. We don't need him. The DK Sims Madden are on that I bet on. That means something that I'm still here. I appreciate that, Sean. I know that means a lot from you. I was just kidding, CJ. If you wanna do a dad joke, you certainly can. Is Bell scored from the back? Yeah, Bell is going to be scored from the rear today. Well, no. Like he's starting in 10th and he's getting scored from his original starting spot. That's what I meant to say. It's kind of a confusing question. Bell, when the race starts, Bell is going to be scored from being starting in 10th, but he'll be dropping to the rear. We'll see you, Sean. Have a great time. Sean says, good morning. Brad wins. Possible, Sean. I know you want that to happen because you're an RFK fanboy. Is Byron Blaney a decent tourney play? Yes, I prefer Blaney a little bit more between the two. Just join favorite drivers and fades. Love you, daddy. Yeah, favorite drivers for me. I'm going to be heavy on Larson, Hamlin. I'm going to be very heavy on Reddick and Elliott. I have a good chunk of Bowman and Keselowski, specifically on FanDuel. And then Gregson, Stenhouse, Dillon down low in Priest. It's like a very quick rundown of the player pool. I have 30 minutes to build. I have not built a single lineup, and I have plenty to do. So I'm probably going to have to hop out of here. It was a very fun stream. I appreciate y'all being active and hanging out. Y'all have a fantastic Father's Day, doing whatever you are doing. I will see you next week. No idea where we are, but I will find out shortly. But I wish you all the best. And good luck, because we're going to need it today.